Good morning, members of the media. As of this morning, the Met Office, together with NDMO and key government stakeholders, have briefed the Honourable Prime Ministers and member of Cabinet, together with Permanent Secretary, and the following is what we discuss. Super Cyclone Yasa's assault on Fiji began in the Yasawas yesterday afternoon. The storm made landfall as a Category 5 system last night in the Mbua province of Vanuatu with wind speed up to 345 kilometers per hour. It tore across Vanuatu through the night, exiting Sawani and then sweeping across the central Lau group. Its strength has dropped and it is currently heading southeast out of Fiji waters. After an eastward shift, more than 93,000 Fijians found themselves in the direct path of the storm. I can confirm, as of this morning, we now have 2 fatalities. We have about 23,431 Fijians in the evacuation center across Fiji. Our police and discipline force will be monitoring all homes in affected areas. The dust not yet settled, and we will continue to assess the scale of damage in the coming days. But we are likely looking at hundreds of millions of dollars in damages. In the meantime, our operational focus for the next 24 hours is on maintaining public safety, clearing roads, restoration of critical infrastructure and services, re-establishing communication with severely affected areas, and coordinating support from our development partners. With regard to curfew hours, in Vanuatu, curfew hours from today will start at 5 p.m. to 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. I repeat myself again, Vanuatu curfew hours will be from 5 p.m. this afternoon to 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. The rest of Fiji will be from 8 p.m. tonight to 4 a.m. tomorrow morning. From tomorrow, all curfews will revert to COVID-19 hours from 11 p.m. to 4 a.m. All public transport can now operate. However, we ask that you take precaution and be guided by advisories. Businesses and shops can now open. Just to give you a breakdown, the evacuation center that are currently open as of our report, 8 o'clock this morning. In the Northern Division, we have 74 evacuation center open with 3,468 evacuees. In the Western Division, we have 192 evacuation center open with 12,396 evacuees residing in those evacuation center. In the Central Division, we have 139 evacuation center open with 5,258 evacuees. In the Eastern Division, we have 51 evacuation center open with 2,291 evacuees. Ladies and gentlemen, that brings the total number of evacuation center currently open as of 8 a.m. report this morning at 456, with a total number of 23,413 residing in those evacuation centers. That is the brief that I've provided for you this morning. If there's any questions, we'll take them.
Madam Shelby, could you confirm where the 2 fatalities are from and how did they happen to lose their lives?
Where they're from, I could confirm that one is in the Western Division and one is from the Northern Division. The issues surrounding how they died, that is still something that we are waiting for Ministry of Health to confirm to us before we release more information on that.
Madam Leader Mavono for Overseas Media, can you tell us about opening and closure of towns and cities of badly affected and transportation and access to those cities for the NDMO and relief work?
As I had mentioned, for Vanuatu, all the shops and all businesses are open across. The only difference is the curfew hours for Vanuatu will be from 8. Sorry, let me just bring that up again. From 5 p.m. to 6 a.m. tomorrow morning, my apologies. And for the rest of Fiji will be from 8 p.m. to 4 a.m. tomorrow morning. For businesses across the whole of Fiji, it is now open, or you have been now advised to open. However, you have to still confine to those curfew hours only for today. From tomorrow, all curfew hours reverts to COVID-19 hours. And as I'd mentioned, the public transport can also now operate.
What about shipping in and out of Level, and particularly that which will take NDMO assessment and brief?
For the Maritime Islands, we're waiting for the Met Office to give us the clearance. As of when that is issued, MSAF will issue the clearance for them to sail.
Madam, communication towers down in mostly Matota and Amasa area. Any feedback on when communication will be up?
As per the advice from both Digicel and Vodafone, we have communications in Vonolevu. As we speak right now, we have communications in both in the areas that you have inquired. Where we can't get through to Vodafone, Digicel is there. However, as per the advice, we should have full restoration before midday tomorrow, pending the assessment on the ground from the Divisional Commissioner.
I'm not from Legend from 96 News. Just any update from schools, because we've got reports that some of the schools in the north have been damaged. Do you have any updates on how many schools were destroyed, or when will school resume?
The school is still closed. However, I can confirm that there are infrastructure damage to schools both in the South and Vonolevu. It's too early to give you the details about the intent, the capacity, or what has incurred on those schools that have been identified as damaged. Once we receive information from Commissioner Northend, we will release those information.
And that is by when will you be able to compile it, collect all information, exact information on as well as the damages?
As we speak right now, Commissioner Northend is on the ground doing that assessment. They were waiting for the break of light for them to mobilize and get all those information for the public.
What's the question? Assistance, when will assistance be provided to this?
As soon as we know what is on the ground and the level of damages and what we need to bring in, we have to be. We also have to remind ourselves. Well, for example, Commissioner Northern, he's got civil service, he's got infrastructure team that are in the Northern Division. We will wait on his cue to tell us if he needs more manpower. We will then deploy. Otherwise, from the Central Division or from VT level, we are ready to support Commissioner Northern as well as Eastern, mainly because of the Maritime Islands. So we're currently waiting for information to come in from our Maritime Islands as well.
So from Central Division and Western Division,
Sorry, I'm Corey from SBC. Is the NDMO working with the Health Ministry in evacuation centers, given that this period where disease outbreak is most common, like typhoid, leptospirosis, and ensure that people within these evacuation centers are well taken care of and have the resources?
So one of the protocols that we do when we about to close the evacuation center is that Ministry of Health usually sprays the evacuation center to ensure its safety. In addition to that, the Fiji Police Force, together with the Divisional Commissioner's Office, they mobilize themselves to the ground to identify homes of evacuees and to ensure that they are safe to return home. Once that is confirmed from those that are actually inspecting homes, the evacuees is then allowed to go home. But the big number in our evacuation center, and I'd like to thank the people of Fiji for taking precautionary measures. The number is huge because people moved in for precautionary measures. And so that number will come down heavily by this afternoon once we have these evacuees returning home. So we'll have a fresh number for you by this afternoon.
Madam, you've done a lot of preparatory work, you've done a lot of resilience and awareness training. This is the morning after your biggest disaster since you took over. How are you feeling about how the people of Fiji have responded to this cyclone?
It's not about how I feel, it's about how the people feel right now as they have woken up to see the level of damages to their homes, in regards to their farms, what they have lost over the years. the investment that has gone into their like I said, their farms, their homes. So for me, it's not about how I feel, it's about taking into consideration how the people of Fiji is feeling right now, and knowing that with whatever little help I can do to get the messaging out to save lives is what the government is all about. It's all about saving lives.
Have you got assistance to Western and Central Division? When will that happen? Because you say you're waiting for a lot of division. So how about
For Western Division, our concern is the Ra as well as Yasawa, because that was the direction of the path of the cyclone. We've yet to get information. As we speak, Commissioner Weston is on the ground with his team, identifying the damages that has incurred as well as what is needed. We will wait on Commissioner Weston's cue. For the Central Division, mostly flood. Again, before the evacuees return home, we will ensure that their homes are safe. As of when Commissioner Norton is able to compile the assessment for today, we will then mobilize the response when needed.
Just one last question. Madam, is the power and water in the north?
The power and water in the north, again, this is something that both EFL and Water Authority is trying to restore. For Water Authority, the advice today is as soon as they're able to operationalize or move the assessment team to identify area what the issues are, they will try their level best to do that, and the same for EFL. But for Viti level, I can confirm that we have power in most areas across Viti level.